House GOP Whip Steve Scalise is the ranking Republican on the Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus crisis. Poll from last week here at Fox News, when you think about the origins of COVID, which is more likely, 60% of people said created in a lab, only 31% evolved from nature. So with that kind of number, like 60%, you'd think you could get a bipartisan hearing going. What happened there?
Yeah, Dana, good to be with you. And you would think that Speaker Pelosi would be joining with us to want to get to the bottom of how this virus started, especially when you've seen mountains of evidence recently come out that point even more strongly to the likelihood that it started in the Wuhan lab. Look, we were calling over a year ago, House Republicans calling for a hearing. We weren't saying we knew it started there. We just saw a lot of evidence that pointed to it starting in the lab. In fact, many medical experts over a year ago were saying it may have started in the lab. And for some perplexing reason, Speaker Pelosi keeps trying to cover up for China, not wanting to have a hearing and have some accountability to get answers. So we said, if they're not going to do it, we'll just do it ourselves. So we're having a hearing today. We've got a lot of medical experts, other people who have done extensive research into the origin of COVID. I mean, look, this has killed over 600,000 Americans, millions worldwide. Why wouldn't Speaker Pelosi have a hearing? Our name of our committee is the Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus, and yet they refuse to have a hearing on the origin of the coronavirus. So we're going to do it ourselves, and I think we're going to start getting some answers.
All right. Well, we'll pay attention to that. I also wanted to ask you about this latest messaging from the White House, suggesting that it's actually Republicans who are the ones that want to defund the police. Here's Cedric Richmond. He's, of course, a senior advisor to the president. Watch.
Let's talk about who defunded the police. When we were in Congress last year trying to pass a rescue plan, I'm sorry, not the rescue plan, but an emergency relief plan for cities that were cash-strapped and laying off police and firefighters, it was the Republicans who objected to it. So look, Republicans are very good at staying on talking points of who says defund the police, but the truth is they defunded the police.
The White House press secretary said the same thing. So now you can imagine the entire White House apparatus is going to be pushing this message that it's the Republicans' fault. How do you plan to fight back against that?
Well, by putting a mirror up and just reminding them what they, in fact, did over the last year. Everybody knows it was Democrats who started this crazy radical extremist move to defund police. All the big city mayors that defunded their police, whether it's New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, they're all Democrats. And in fact, you had Democrats here in Congress. Speaker Pelosi just recently called police stormtroopers. You had one of her top lieutenants in Congress on the Democrat side who said police are inherently racist and need to be abolished. That's Democrats who did it. Now they're seeing the dumpster fire they created. I mean, crime's up. You had almost 80 shootings in Chicago over the weekend where they defunded police. And so what is their answer? To admit that they were wrong? They never admit they were wrong. They just want to try to blame somebody else.
You know, I do wonder about this, though, because they might not ever say that they're wrong. However, the fact that they're even trying to blame Republicans for this and not trying to embrace it, to me, says that they are seeing the same numbers that we're seeing, which is that the numbers that on public approval that are dragging Biden down have to do with two main issues, crime and immigration.
Yeah. The public has dramatically rejected this crazy defund the police idea. And in fact, in many of those big cities where they defunded the police are where people are against it the most, because they're the ones who have to live through the consequences. You see so many of these council members who voted to defund police are begging for private security while they voted to take security away from everyone else. They're all Democrats who voted to do that. And now they're seeing the results of it. The public's turning against it because they see crime out of control. They see police resignations off the charts. And so what's their answer? They should be working to admit it was a mistake and then go fix it. And instead, they just want to try to blame somebody else. It's not working, but it shows you how failed of a crazy idea defund police really is.
Well, and it's not going to help anybody that's out there in these communities that need more police protection. Steve Scalise, great to see you. We'll pay attention to the hearing that you're having later today. Thank you.
Thanks, Dana.